if the Yankees would have gotten swept last night, it would have completely invalidated the season. I would never look back at this season fondly if the Yankees got swept. They didn't. Not only did they not get swept, they really looked, with the exception of, Judge and Soto going bonkers, the other, which is a big piece of who they are, but you saw a little piece of the Yankee machine that you haven't seen for a while, and that's the bottom of the order, and that's some other things happening. So as we get to Game 5 tonight, I've got supreme faith in Garrett Cole. I think the Yankees hit Flaherty. I'm not worried right now about winning the series. So I go into the stadium last night. Don't get swept. Don't get embarrassed. Don't let them celebrate on your grass like they did in 81. And I felt pretty good that they were going to win the game. And they did. And they looked awesome. 11 runs, ton of hits. The place was out of its mind awesome. And now you get to tonight. And I'm not thinking about, is there going to be a parade? I'm thinking about your horse has the ball, a guy that you should hit in Flaherty. So now at least from whatever part of the mountain you reside on, whether you were still all in, Yanks can win, or start to drop off the mountain, the path, at least now. And I don't know what Yankee fans were saying before the game. I can only tell you what I was thinking. I didn't think the series was necessarily over. Well, I'm feeling good about it. But right now, based on what happened last night and where we are, there is a visible path to not only get this back to L.A., but to maybe mess around and win. But I'm just talking about tonight. And the Yankees will win tonight.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I think the Yankees will die tonight.
Why?
And look, because I just think the Dodgers are a better team. The Dodgers gave them the game last night.
They going to hit Garrett Cole?
Yeah, I think they will.
Yanks aren't going to hit Flaherty?
They might. I mean, I think the Yankees... See, last night to me was more... And look, the Yankees had to do it. I thought that there was a path starting yesterday. Like we talked about it. There was a path. Beat the bullpen game. Check. They did. Avoid embarrassment and get on the board. Don't get swept. Beat the bullpen. Check. They did that. Now, tonight, the path should be you have the pitching advantage with your ace going against Jack Flaherty for the second time. And we saw the Mets beat Flaherty the second time. Yankees have to do that. But I don't look at it and say, well, Volpe is back. Volpe, the bottom of the order is turned around. Yeah, that's great. Like, he hit a grand slam off of an okay pitcher, and you give the Yankees a ton of credit. They won the game. They had to go out there and do it. There's a long way to go. It's 3-1. I think last night just avoided embarrassment. Tonight, it gets real. If they win tonight, then you have the pressure shift back on the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't think the Yankees win tonight. I think Cole is due for a bad start. I worry about the health of Garrett Cole. We saw that with the 88 pitches in Game 1. This is going to be a huge game for him. Also, the Dodgers lineup hasn't done squat. The Yankee bullpen has been the entire key so far.
Very good.
Yeah, the Yankee bullpen has shut them down. So even again, the game last night, who knows what would happen had Weaver come back out for a third inning if it were just a 2-run game. But obviously, Dave Roberts giving the Yankees the game there, and it gets.
By the way, Boone said he would have. Boone said he was going to roll back out there.
To me, it was obvious. To me, it was obvious when he went to him in the seventh inning that if you start thinking out, you're like, well, if he's going to him in the seventh inning now, who's closing the game out? The answer is Weaver. And you're not going to him now and not having him come back out for the ninth, which also makes it worse than in Game 1 because he really screwed that up.
Yeah.
If Weaver gets beat in Game 1, a little bit easier to digest. Boone leaving Weaver or taking him out of play, and then whether he went with Hill or Cortez really didn't matter. It wasn't your best guy, and they end up getting beat. And to me, that was where the Yankees really lost this series in Game 1. But there still is a path at least to get it back. On paper, hey, you got your ace tonight against Jack Flaherty. Yanks going to be seeing him for the second time. Can the Yanks offense get going for real, not just against a bullpen? Like, this is what the Yankees do. We talked about this is typical Yankees here where they've done a lot of things that they did in the regular season. Well, last night to me was the same thing. Beat up on some bad pitching, a bully game. Wasn't it? Blew the game out and won a game. Can they do that again tonight? I'm not so sure because I think the Dodgers are due.
Well, if they can't hit Flaherty, they don't deserve to keep playing. I mean, this is a guy that you're supposed to hit. The numbers say that Flaherty on regular rest is not very good. And, I want to get more into Garrett Cole a little later. Specifically, some things that were said yesterday from Boone, from Garrett himself about what happened in Game 1, but more specifically about not getting the ball last night. There was a thought that maybe he should, whatever. Now, it worked out well, all right, because he's pitching tonight. And, if you're going to be down 3-0, it's not a good script that anybody wants to have to come back from. But if you look at it, this is probably the best script that you can muster up. So it's 0-3, and you get a bullpen game and you score a bunch of tack-on runs and you get a little mojo and you get Volpe with a couple of knocks and Wells has to feel good about himself and Verdugo had a hit. Yankees start to run the bases a little bit and giving more time for Aaron Judge to wake up.
Yeah.
All right? So, I mean, he hasn't done it yet, but at least buying some more time. And the more time they play, you have to think that eventually, Aaron's going to run into him. And if not, it's a big problem. But you beat the bullpen, you win the game, everybody does something good, 11 runs. Now you go to the next game, and it's back at home, and you got your ace who won the Cy Young, who was really good in game one, but still has something to prove based on the fact that he let himself be pulled after 88. So, there's not many favorable 0-3 scripts. I'll take this one.
Yeah, and I think that's just the way the Dodgers are, which is in part why the Yankees got that win last night. They give away these games in these series. At some point, they're going to get burnt. If there ever was a team that could go back from 0-3, it would be a team that Dave Roberts is facing. And the Yankees certainly in that predicament. But the same way, and we talked about this yesterday, the same way that you say, the longer the series goes, the more likely Judge is going to get going. Ohtani hasn't done anything.
I know.
Betts hasn't done anything. Muncy has done squat in this series. So, I mean, the Dodgers also, and that's why just tonight, I think the Yankees have reached, and look, we'll see how it plays out. It's a great job by them avoiding getting swept and getting on the board here in this World Series. I think tonight, I just have a bad feeling about Garrett Cole, and I do think that Dodger lineup at some point is going to break through and score a ton of runs, and the Yankees are going to have to do that. Like, there is no more the Yankees are going to win a close game. They have to hit Flaherty tonight to even have a chance.
Yep.
Even if they do that, I still think that the Dodgers are going to score a bunch of runs.
Well, I mean, listen, if Garrett Cole gives up a bunch of runs, as you just said you think that he will, Garrett Cole's going to get crushed.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And rightfully so. And it just, you can't let it happen. I mean, that's it. You go out there, take the baseball. I don't need, 7 2/3 with 13 strikeouts with 1 hit. Garrett Cole better do his job tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to.
Yeah, well,
he has to, and he better.
I mean, he hasn't been great in the postseason. I do think he's compromised, though. Clearly, something is off with Garrett Cole. You can't tell me that you think he's 100% off of what happened this year where he was banged up early on.
No, this year he has not been. I'm talking about like right now because the stats from, right now, I don't know
great.
that. Is it fatigue? Who knows?
Oh, no, but the fact that he would ask, or not ask out, but not convince Boone to stay in that game after 88 pitches, a game that he was dominating, that was the best pitch game that he's had.
Yeah,
against that lineup on the road.
Yeah.
To me, he's not 100% Garrett Cole. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. Who knows what's going to happen here tonight? I just don't get the confidence that I would normally have. Like Cole last year, immense confidence.
Well,
this year, also off of game one, even though he was good, I don't trust. And against the Dodger lineup, it's less even about Garrett Cole. It's a combination of potentially a compromised Cole versus a loaded Dodger lineup that is due. Now, you want to say Ohtani's shoulder? Maybe that's a major factor. He's not going to get going. Okay, fine. Maybe Betts is not a good matchup against Cole. I don't know. We'll see. But I just get the feeling the Dodgers bats, and you're going to get the Dodgers A game tonight, meaning their A relievers after Flaherty, whatever he gives you. I just think tonight is a tough task for the Yanks.
I would probably be as disappointed, and I know I'm not alone in this, and just in terms of what I expect. And I don't think what you just said is going to happen at all. It could, but I don't see that, obviously. But if that did happen, boy, I'd have to really dig deep and try to find something comparable to that in terms of one of the main horses there's not much coming back from that because there's other things with Garrett Cole, which we've talked about the last couple of days. And he's been a really, really good Yankee, but you got to save the season. This is why you have the contract. We all saw the sign when you were a little kid. It's amazing synergy. Well, here you are. That little kid is 60 feet, 6 inches away from either getting his team back to L.A. or getting on the golf course. And you need to do your job, period.
We will have Game 5 tickets to give away coming up next hour. You can be in the house tonight and see if the Yankees can extend this thing and have a shot at history.
Sal, when Volpe, did you think it was gone right away because it was low?
I saw the replay of it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a liner.
I already knew what happened before I actually saw it.
The place went absolutely bonkers, and I don't know what this means for tonight. We'll get to the calls, obviously. 888-808-1019. Yankees still in there, which is awesome. But the heaviness that you bring to the batter's box when you're not doing well, whether it's Judge, whether it's some other guys. Now, tonight, and Flaherty's he's got hittable stuff.
Yeah.
Wells starts walking in there, digs in a little differently. Volpe walks up there, digs in a little differently. Even Verdugo, the home run the night before, he had hit last night, couple of ribbies. He walks in there, starts to dig it a little differently. differently. If the bottom, listen, again, I'm not even thinking about a ridiculous, crazy 4 straight epic comeback because it's just too much to bite off now. I'm concerned about tonight. I do think it gets back to L.A. I really do. But if this lower third starts hammering, then I'm putting no limits on what this might look like in about 7 or 8 days.
BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Justin's in Manhattan. What's up, Justin?
Hey, guys. What's going on? Love the show.
Thanks.
I just wanted to bring up something I noticed when I was at the stadium pretty early on. And I do have a second point at this time, but I'll first get started saying I got in early, had a standing room only ticket, set up shop in center field. It was about like 5:15. I noticed there's a group of Yankees taking some early BP, and 3 of them in particular were mashing the ball, like all over the yard. And I know it's just batting practice, but Anthony Volpe was hitting liners out of the stadium, Wells and Glaber, and all 3 went on to hit home runs. So I don't know if that's like an indicator of success later on, but they looked good in particular, and that was like what jumped out.
Yeah, and then they faced batting practice pitching in the game, and thank you for the call, Justin, with the Dodgers C and D relievers, and they did their damage. I mean, look, the Yankees, if they can't hit the bullpen game, as we said yesterday going in, at some point, you felt like the Yankee bats were going to break out, especially at home. You had to think that. I thought it was going to happen in Game 3. It didn't. It happened last night in a bullpen game, which you figured, I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
And they did. But I don't think it has anything to do with what they did in batting practice.
No, I don't have a camera on him, but I'm quite sure that Aaron Judge is, launching 440-foot missiles during batting practice. That's a little bit of a stretch. Now, if you told me one of the coaches said, one of the 3 players that our last caller mentioned, hey, what I've seen in batting practice is a better approach. He's really going the other way with more consistency, and he's letting the ball get a little deeper, like some baseball speak, which matters. But, I mean, okay, I don't even know if that would embolden me because I've heard that a million times. I mean, batting practice, but, again, I think it's more of a mental thing. I don't know, maybe that last hit by Judge, who knows? He hit it pretty hard. Maybe that gets him going. It's just, last night was fun. I don't want that to get lost. Like, that to me, It was so awesome. And if they would have lost less, I mean this, Sal, 94 wins, divisional series, championship series, hosting throughout the AL, getting to the Dodgers, World Series, first time they met since 81, haven't been here since 09, all the stuff that we've talked about this year, the ups and the downs. If we would have walked out of that stadium or Yankee fans turned off their TV last night and they got swept by the Dodgers, it would have been so not that the Dodgers aren't better.
Right.
I think they might be slightly better. So unacceptable that it would have been almost impossible for me to look at this season in a good way ever. You get swept in a World Series, you get embarrassed.
What if they lose tonight?
It's going to be different because they had the moment.
I mean, but now we're just.
Good.
I'm saying
a loss is a loss. I'm not here for consolation prizes. Clearly,
and also,
I want to win.
I agree with you that they avoided complete embarrassment. Getting swept is embarrassing.
Can't have it.
You can't lose 4 straight. I don't care how much better they are than you. You're the Yankees. It's at home here. Can't get swept. But is losing in 5 really that much worse? If they lose
no. Honestly, not a ton. No.
Right.
I mean, not a ton.
Now, if they lose in 6, especially being down 0-3, a little bit of a different story.
And I was thinking about that on the right, and I hate to think about that. It's almost like an athlete thinking negatively, and you try to avoid that stuff. But I let my mind wander. I listen to Boomer and Gio on the way in my mind, I'm like, well, what happens if they do win tonight and they lose Game 6, whether it's a tight game or kind of loose and they play sloppy? At that point, to me, I think I would be able to look at it very pragmatically and say, all right, man, they gave us a really, really good, fun season. Judge was great during the season. Yeah. Soto's been amazing. Now let's re-sign him and all the other things you enjoyed. And by stretching it back to L.A. shows me that at least, it's a validation of them getting there and having a good year. Now, again, you want to win, and that's the ultimate barometer, especially for the Yankees, but you could not get mopped and lose 4 straight. It would have wiped out everything good.
Mike is in Raleigh, North Carolina. What's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Mike.
Good.
BT, I love you, big fan of yours. I go back a long time listening to you, back when I lived in Brooklyn. So
okay, I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you, buddy. Now, what do you got?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. It was a hell of a win. for the Yankees, but it ends tonight. I mean, the Dodgers are just better, and Garrett Cole has not come up big in postseason moments. I mean, if you go back to the Red Sox play-in game a couple years
Now they
ago,
got rocked.
I mean, he got rocked. He's just not been great in the playoffs. And the Dodgers, I feel like they just they kind of like, I don't want to say mailed it in, but they didn't put full effort last night because they were.
Mike, hold on a second, Mike. No, full effort in terms of Roberts with the bullpen. Yeah, there was definitely a concession there, but so I'll give you that, which is smart. I'm like on some level, but yeah, they didn't give full effort. What are you timing guys running down to first base? How do you know that?
Well, I mean, I think he's
They
just
didn't give
talking about
full effort.
I think he's just talking about the pitching. I would like.
You mean the way Roberts said? Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
There was a slight concession, but Freddie Freeman gave a 2-0 lead. He had another home run.
Yeah,
they're ready to go.
Freeman
Dude,
has
he's
been
insane right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's the Dodgers' lack of effort individually. I think it's just the way that the game was managed. But hey, the Yankees still had to go out there and take it, and it was a 6-4 game. You know, until obviously the Yankees broke it open. Gleyber Torres, the Yankees going nuts in that ninth inning there and saving Weaver for Game 5 now tonight. So, hey, it's all still there in front of them. We talked about this yesterday. There was a path for the Yankees to make this a series. A bullpen game versus Luis Gil favored the Yankees, especially at home. And guess what? The Yankees won in a big way. And tonight, at home, on paper, you should, in theory, favor Garrett Cole versus Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
For the second time, the Yankees have seen Flaherty. The two games the Mets beat the Dodgers in was a bullpen game, which is their give-up game, and the second game that they faced Flaherty. And they kind of just left it out there to let him get tattooed, and the Dodgers, the Mets crushed the Dodgers in that Game 5. Is it going to stay form to that? Or are the Dodgers going to change things? I mean, look, it's there. The path is there. You got your ace. You shouldn't lose the game with your ace on the mound. But you're going against a very good lineup, and I think the ace is compromised. So we'll see how it plays out tonight.
I mean, listen, how jacked up is Ohtani's shoulder? I don't know. Here's the whole lot.
It's jacked up enough to where it's hurting him when he swings.
And I don't want to keep saying this because I don't want to wake him up. But, I think that with Garrett Cole tonight, I think that now, not that the Dodgers come into the game tight, they could be tight, and it will shift momentum-wise, certainly in terms of that inner feeling, if it goes back to L.A. But tonight, at least there should be a little looseness to the Yankees, 11 runs, every player did something decent at some point, and you got your horse. And if you would, now you don't want to sign up for being down 3-0. If this ace doesn't extend the season, like if he got rocked, honestly, I don't know if I'd ever forgive him. I would never look at him the same way. I wouldn't feel the same way. And by the way, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Garrett answers the bell. I can't. I wish it was. I can't. I got to wait all day for this. Yeah. I just wish the game was now, man.
I think I'm going to go tonight.
Are you really?
Yeah, I got to pick up my credential anywhere.
All right.
You know what color I'm wearing, right?
Well, you're not going to change? Is that what you're going to wear?
Yeah.
No S and Y?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
A little black and white?
I'm black.
All right. I got black on too, actually, but now that I got my daughter's softball sweatshirt on. Hey, I had pinstripes on last night, and the place was awesome, and, who knows what the score is going to be. I can tell you that first pitch, or even the first 30, 40, 50 minutes before the game, that place is going to be lit.
It is WFAN's Yankees Game Day on BT and Sal, presented